Hello amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all things Mexico. I'm going to do a Mexico video today because obviously they played Switzerland almost a couple of days ago now. And there's a whole load of things to talk about in this game, so I thought, you know what, I'll do a video on it, that way I don't have to spam Twitter. And yeah, like I said, there's a load of things to talk about. The first thing obviously is the result. Everyone knows it was 4-2 to Switzerland, which is a little misleading in my opinion. While Switzerland were undoubtedly the better team, I think the game should have been a lot closer than what a 4-2 suggests. Um, let's get straight into it. Obviously, the goal was Santi Jimenez getting his first goal for Mexico in, I think, ever actually. Actually, not ever, but in a long, long time. I think it's like almost 2 years since he scored. I think the last goal actually was the final way back when. So, yeah, it does feel like his first goal. It probably felt like it to him as well. He looked like he was really relieved to get it. Really good, scrappy goal, really, but it was a good goal to score. And yeah, so that's really good for him. Sepulveda getting the second for Mexico, and then obviously I think each goal for Switzerland is could be a video in and of itself. Um, just a small gist of it, and poor defending for Mexico for the first goal. I don't blame Talavangel at all. I'm going to be talking all about him actually in this video, so stay tuned for that a bit later on. But yeah, poor defending for the first goal. The second goal should have been disallowed. They were all offside. And the third goal and the fourth goal. The fourth goal, I think the third goal actually was the one goal I think that you can really lay at Rangel's feet for the blame. And maybe the fourth goal as well. Was he off his line too high? Was he too high off the line? Possible. But yeah, 4-2 I think is a little bit misleading. I think maybe a 3-2 would have been a bit more balanced and a bit more accurate, but it is what it is. Like I said, I tweeted out that there's going to be a massive overreaction to this game. People expect Mexico to win every single game they play, and when they don't, it's the end of the world. Look, this is a friendly, and it's a friendly against a relatively top European team. Switzerland are no jokes. They do have some really, really good players. They're a really good team, and you want Mexico to be playing these games. And if I tweeted out as well, like if you're gonna lose these games because you can learn from them, and it's not gonna cost you a spot at the World Cup or a major tournament. I think there is a lot to learn in this game. And these are the games, even if you lose, I'd rather see Mexico play these games and lose them and then not play them at all. And it's, you're going to lose friendlies. It's a rotated team for Mexico, relatively, especially at the back. But yeah, you're going to lose these games. But it's a question about learning from them. And I think we're going to learn from this game. So yeah, the overreaction to this game is just a little bit funny for me, to be honest with you. Would you rather them not play Switzerland then? I want them to play Switzerland because that's how they're going to learn and improve. The more times Mexico play European teams, maybe they'll get deeper into the World Cup next time. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you think of that. Goalkeeping position. Obviously, this is the main talking point in the game. Talavangel versus Malagon. Malagon's doing his best to torpedo his life and his career. I'm not going to go into it. Everyone by now should know what's going on with him. He's probably going to start the next game, which is fair enough. But Talavangel for me is the better goalkeeper. Right now, today, you have to say Malagon's better, but he's older than Rangel, so he should be. But I think Rangel has a higher ceiling, a much higher ceiling. And, Rangel is going to be Mexico's number one sooner or later. And you want him to play as many games as possible with Mexico to get it bedded in, especially in friendlies. This is the whole point of friendlies. You bed in some of your fringe kind of players and get them into first team mode. Look, Rangel's played 2 games for Mexico. Both of them have been against top opponents. You have to agree with that. And both of them have been losses. Like I said, one, maybe 2 of the 4 goals is at his fault. I'm not saying Rangel's a perfect player. He's not. He's young. I think he's 25 now. That's young for a goalkeeper, especially a national team goalkeeper. And he's, over the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to improve a lot. He's not perfect. He does have things that he needs to work on. Positioning for me was off in this game. He was really, really high. I don't know whether it's an Aguirre thing, a coaching thing, but he was really, really high. He's not usually that high with Chivas, so that was a little bit of a surprise, especially calling out the last goal. Um, but and when he got chipped basically because he was too high off his line, that's on him. The third goal as well, you can say, but the first two goals for me shouldn't be his fault at all. Um, yeah, just it was not Mexico's best centre back pairing. Let's just be real. Chiquete, don't know what happened with him and Cruzazol, but Chiquete does not look the player that he was when he left Chivas. I'm not just saying that to be petty. He had a terrible game. It was a really bad game. And Cesar Montes had a worse game. Let's be real. And you kind of think how important Johan Vasquez is to this back line. And you think, of course, Johan's not going to play the time that, Talent really needed a strong centre back pairing. Um, so, yeah, the defence for me was the loss of this game. Cesar Montes had the worst game I've ever seen him play for Mexico. Absolutely terrible. I mean, he headbutted Mateo Chavez. He got a yellow card. He was at fault for at least the first goal. Just opened up the defence and let them walk in and score a goal, which is abysmal. And you think, okay, that's going to make, Talamangel's going to be affected by that. Goalkeeper's going to be affected if your two centre backs are having both terrible games. For me, Mateo Chavez, man, like you've seen me on this channel multiple times raving about this kid. Um, Gets his debut, obviously, gets his good move to Europe from Chivas. Chivas let him go to Europe. Of course, he's going to be called up to the national team. I didn't think he was going to get a start, to be honest with you. But I'm really glad he did, because I think he was the best player on the pitch. Raul Jimenez did relatively alright as well. But yeah, for me, Mateo Chavez is the best player on the pitch. Doing brilliantly. He should have got a really, really good assist. He just slotted the ball into the box and it was just crying out for somebody to tap it in, but it didn't happen. But tackle after tackle, he was everywhere. I think Mexico has his starting starting left back now for the time being. The kid's only 20, I think he's 22 now. Yeah, mate, he was brilliant. He was really brilliant. You can tell that he's got massive confidence now playing in Europe. I think he's gonna be but I think he's going to be a first team player for Alkmaar sooner rather than later. Obviously, he's not going to walk straight into the team. He's going to earn his spot. It's going to be a little while, maybe a month or so. But I think relatively quickly, he's going to nail down that starting spot in the left back position. And that's all the good for Mexico because, fullbacks have been a little bit of an issue in Mexico over the last couple of years. And left back looks like it could be sorted. Right back on the other hand, Lara didn't really think had a really good game at all. Inexperience is definitely not the first choice right back for Mexico. Julian Araujo is, but he's playing with injuries still. He's only just come back off a long-term injury, so you can understand why he's not playing. But yeah, Lara for me didn't have a really good game at all, unfortunately. But Mateo Chavez, mate, this kid's gonna be amazing, and I'm so glad that he was from Chivas and we get to watch his amazing career. Because I think honestly, touch wood, I think he's gonna have a really good career. I mean, poor defense, but I think midfield as well cost Mexico this game. Charlie Rodriguez, God knows how he's starting games, let alone playing for Mexico. Everyone you're gonna see on YouTube is gonna be moaning about him understandably, but I'm not going to do that. Everyone else is going to do that. All I'm going to say is that Charlie Rodriguez should not be starting Mexico games, and arguably not even called up. There are better centre midfielders out there, Marcel Ruiz, for example, that should be playing instead. So, and Lyra as well. I wasn't impressed with him, to be honest with you. He looked really out of his depth. Just a really poor midfield, in my opinion. I think it cost us the game. Chino Huerta, I think he did alright. He didn't do too bad. He got booked, but he was everywhere. He was trying to attack. And Piojo as well. Piojo had a bit of a really bad miss from my memory. I think he had one shot that just skied it. Should have been a goal. Again, are they Mexico's first choice wingers? Maybe Chino is because he's doing really well over in Europe right now. So maybe him, but Piojo. I mean, I love Piojo. He's my player, but um, should he be the starting right winger for Mexico? Questionable. And then Santi and Raul Jimenez up front, beautiful. I want to see that more often. Both of them had okay games. Raul in particular, I thought had a really really good game. Um, Santi obviously got his goal, but for pretty much the whole of the first half, he was a bit of a passenger, a bit of a ghost. He just needs to work on it, man. I think him and Raul do have a good chemistry, and I think that could get stronger and better. So yeah, I would like to continue with those two up front. I think that's kind of a cool idea. So yeah, I mean overall, Chiquete shouldn't be the first. He's not the first choice centre back. And Cesar obviously needs Johan next to him. Um, Whether Cesar's kind of on the downward spiral now in terms of his ability, I'm not sure. I think he's still got a few years ahead of him at the top level. There are already questions about him coming back to the Liga MX, so you have to look out for that. But yeah, Johan Vasquez undoubtedly Mexico's best centre back right now, and he's probably going to be for a while as well. So that's a thing we need to be aware of. Mexico needs to be developing these centre backs more. Chiquete, you'd think would improve, but mate, I mean, I haven't watched Cruz Azul games. I don't watch Cruz Azul games, but I don't think he's had a really particularly great season. I think he's stagnated in Cruz Azul. He should have gone to Europe, and we should have let him go to Europe. Hands up for that. But we were going to let him go at some point, and he chose to go to Cruz Azul, and I think that's a detrimental move for him. But based on this game, you have to kind of agree because he had a poor game. Um, but yeah, I mean, the centre midfielders as well. I mean, Charlie Rodriguez and Lyra, they're not going to be the starting centre midfielders um, for Mexico. So you kind of think, okay. But overall, the fringe players that have got an opportunity in this game didn't impress, except for Mateo Chavez, who really, really impressed. I think even hardcore America fans, I've seen plenty hold their hands up and say, look, the kid's actually a really good player and he had a really good game. So for me, man of the match for Mexico. Like I said, with Rangel, that was obviously the main talking point. Maybe another goalkeeper is going to pop up at some point and overtake Malagon and Rangel, but at the moment, they're the two best goalkeepers we've got. One of them's got massive off the field issues that's could affect his career. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, like I said, Rangel's the better goalkeeper. I think he's got the higher ceiling. He just needs to improve, and hopefully he gets more chances under Aguirre. Obviously, Malagon's probably going to start the next game. You rotate your players as much as possible. Get as many players playing as much minutes as possible in these friendlies to assess them, if not anything else. But yeah, in the next couple of years at least, I think Rangel is going to be the number one for Mexico. Hopefully, the centre backs shape up a bit more, give him a little bit more protection. Because yeah, when Rangel's exposed at the moment, he's a bit of a liability. But most goalkeepers are. I mean, I don't think Malagon would have saved the last two goals, the first two goals either. I think we still would have lost if Malagon had been in goal. So it's just got to give Rangel time to kind of get more experience. He's only had a couple of games for Mexico, for crying out loud. I think the first one was against Uruguay. So against tough oppositions. Yeah, I just think it's all experience for him. He's going to improve. He's going to get better with these games. And we just got to tough it out, basically. Yes, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. There's loads of things to talk about this game, like I said. I'll try to cover as much as possible. Let me know what you thought about the game. Rangel, Mateo Chavez, all the players that I mentioned. Let me know, let me know the players that, could be doing better for Mexico that didn't play in this game. Julian Araujo obviously was one of them. Marcel Ruiz came on, Vega came on, didn't really do much. But like I said, expecting Vega to do much, in this game is a bit of a tough ask. But yeah, hopefully Aguirre is going to take a lot of points from this game and improve on it. So, yeah, anyway, guys, let me know if you watched the game, let me know if you enjoyed it, let me know if you like Mexico playing these games or if you don't like them playing these games. And yeah, I'll try and do a video for the next game. I'm not sure, it depends on what my schedule is, but if not, I'll talk to you guys very soon because obviously it's off season now, summertime. There's going to be a lot of things going on with Mexican national team, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Have a really good week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.